So I believe there's kind of an untold story in the residential and commercial real estate market right now. Now, more so in the commercial real estate market, a lot less so in the residential, and that's for different factors. Now, obviously, as everybody, decided to, well, not decided, but was forced to go and do remote work and now wants to do it more so, and the companies realize they can still make plenty of money, if not more, by doing it. Now there's a very big drop in commercial space needs, right? Hopefully that comes back so that industry can continue prospering, but for right now, there really isn't. And in some counties and states, they're basically kind of fooling the possible prospects for those commercial spaces and potentially even making it seem like that market is going up when fundamentally it really shouldn't be because the demand isn't there and the money isn't there. And how they're doing this is in the way they frame the picture and structure it. What I mean by that is, for example, instead of having the place go from costing, let's say $10 million down to $6 million in order to rent it right away, hey, let's just, maybe drop it a little bit to 9 million or maybe even bump it up. Whatever the number is, it doesn't matter, but we will pay you, let's say $50 per square feet up into a certain number or the total number in order to give you, a cost to come and fix it up after our previous tenant, and we'll also pay 4 months free. So that average annualized number that you're looking at over the period of 4 or 5 years, when you take into account all of those incentives that they're giving you, essentially makes it so that they might as well have dropped the price down to 60%. Now, why are they not doing that? Well, because it's very difficult to gain ground, and when you give up, it's like in football, never move backwards, right? Once you give up that ground, it's very difficult to get that back, and it typically sends things from an emotional perspective. Basically, fundamentally sends the prices down because everybody starts freaking out because the prices are dropping. So they would rather do anything they possibly can to maintain those prices than have to give that up. And I think I've seen a few similar kind of things in the residential rental market. Obviously, it depends what city, what state, and the area. So, for example, in San Francisco City, rates for rent have dropped 20, 30, 40% in some places, depending on, if it was luxury or kind of single family homes or condos and stuff like that. And, you know, we haven't seen the same effect on the purchasing side of the real estate market. But the cost for those homes is 3 grand, 4 grand, 5 grand a month. So are the people that are renting that are able to afford $3,000, $5,000 a month really not the same crowd that's going and then purchasing our properties? No, I think they are. And so I think what's going to happen in both industries over, or this, both industries over the next year or two is, I think, as forbearance and these memorandums on rent and everything end, and yes, we have inflation that's helped provide a good equity barrier, so we shouldn't have a lot of foreclosures, but there's still a lot of people that don't have a solution to the memorandums, or yeah, the memorandums on the rental space. So there's still a huge portion of the population, up to 40,000 people, for example, in Santa Clara, that have a possibility of being evicted. On top of that, the rates have already dropped for all of those rentals. So I think right now what we're kind of seeing is a sense of denial in both markets that's going to kind of average down over the next year or two. It's going to be counteracted with inflation, so it might be hard to see. But I think as people are getting evicted, hopefully we can stop as much as that of that as possible. And I'm going to make a video on some information on that later. As people are getting evicted and rates are already low, and people don't return to the deeper part of the city, like San Francisco City and stuff like that. I think that the difference between how much people are renting these places for and purchasing it for are going to have, some downward. The rental market is basically going to have a downward pressure on the buying, because if people can't rent or don't want to rent that area, which is the reason for the prices dropping, then and the forbearance is ending. So, and on top of that, yes, these homeowners have a big barrier, a big, cushion space. They've made a bunch of money, they made a bunch of equity, but at the same time, if you've made 300-400 grand over the past year, you're not so confident that it's going to continue going on, and your tenants aren't paying rent, you're very likely going to sell. So I think those pressures are going to kind of average the prices down a little bit. I still think real estate prices are going to be going through the roof, but that should help rein us in a little bit, as well as hopefully increased mortgage rates and stuff like that. Same thing for the commercial space. I think that they can only, kind of have that have that thing they're doing right now of just incentivizing out the door in order to get people to stay. I think they can only do that for so long, and if there isn't a huge return for in demand for the commercial space and for the opposite of remote work, which is the commercial space, then we're going to see a lot of problems in that sector. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.